Good morning. Myself, Dr. Balasubramaniam, working as assistant professor in the Department of Zoology, Government First Grade College and PG Center, Chintamani. Students, today we are going to discuss about the poultry products and its byproducts. Now, this topic is the third semester carbonate zoology, and the subtopic is economic zoology. So, in the previous classes, we discussed about the indigenous breeds of poultry, and the exotic breeds of poultry. And the third topic is the poultry diseases, namely four types of diseases: the causative agents, the symptoms, the treatments. And today, that is the fourth session or fourth topic of the poultry products and its byproducts. See, as we know, we are dealing with economic zoology. Now, what is economic zoology? Economic zoology is a branch of zoology which deals with the utilization of the animal resources for the betterment and benefit of the mankind. So, man is getting some benefit from the rearing of the animals. So, that forms the economic zoology. So, here the increase of the wealth by using the animal resources. So that forms the economic zoology. The increase of the wealth by the mankind for the betterment of the mankind. Now we use the animal resources. So that forms the economic zoology. Now, as you know, why we are going to rear the birds? See, we usually rear the birds for so many purposes. Out of them, basically, we rear the birds or fowls primarily for eggs and second for meat. For meat and eggs, we are going to rear the poultry. So the eggs and meat are the direct products, main products of the poultry farming. In addition to some byproducts like feathers, poultry meal, manure, etc. The eggs and meat are considered as the richest source of proteins and minerals. As you know, the eggs and meat are the richest source of proteins and minerals. So here we discuss about the egg. The main products of poultry are the eggs and meat. Now, eggs and meat are considered as the richest source of proteins and minerals. So, in fact, the egg, in nutshell, is only one food item where we find all the 20 amino acids. So, 20 amino acids are there in the eggs. So, therefore, the eggs are the best food for protein malnutrition. So nowhere in the universe or in the food item we find all the 20 amino acids. Maybe the essential amino acids or non-essential amino acids. All the 20 essential or the 20 amino acids are found in the eggs. So these eggs are considered as the richest source of proteins, followed by minerals, in addition to fats, in addition to vitamins. All these things are there in the eggs. The egg proteins are easily digestible proteins. So when you consider the egg, see here you see the egg. So there is the presence of the albumin and the presence of the yolk. So in fact 64% of the egg total mass is the albumin and 36% is the yolk. 64% is the albumin, 36% is the yolk. So 36 plus 64, that forms the 100% of the total weight of the egg. 64% of the albumin. So this albumin contains all the amino acids, and yolk, it contains the vitamin A, carotene, and it contains the phospholipids, sphingolipids, cholesterol. All these things are there in the yolk in addition to phosphorus. So the yolk is richest source of the nutrients. So in fact this egg of the birds is called the megalecythal or macrolecythal because of the large quantity of yolk at one aspect, and the egg is a telolecythal because the yolk is found towards at one pole. Now if you consider this elliptical egg, so this portion called the animal pole and the opposite is the vegetal pole. Now towards the vegetal pole the yolk is located, so therefore it is a telolecythal. The eggs are telolecythal and macrolecythal or megalecythal. Now albumin is there and the yolk is there, and surrounding this albumin we find the inner shell membrane and outer shell membrane. So inner shell membrane, outer shell membrane, there is a air space here just to accommodate the space for this developing embryo. So air space is there, and inner shell membrane, outer shell membrane, and there is a calcareous shell is there. Calcareous shell. So it is estimated that around 6,000 minute pores are there in the shell. 6,000 minute pores are there in the shell, calcareous shell. So just for exchange of gases while the embryo is developing in the blastodisc. So this cleavage is said to be meroblastic cleavage, and we find here the yolk and white yolk and yellow yolk alternate layers, and this chalasa is there just to keep the yolk towards one side, and there is a neck of latebra, nucleus of panda, and there is a vitelline membrane. All these things are there in the hen's egg. So therefore this hen's egg is the most nutritive capsule as far as the nutrition is concerned. And when you consider the poultry, first and foremost it strikes to the mind is the eggs. Further, the meat. So the second direct product of the poultry is the meat. Meat is the richest source of proteins and minerals. The proteins of poultry includes the actinomyosin, globulin, myogen, and myoglobin. All these are the different types of proteins found in the meat. The fats may be neutral fats or phospholipids. Vitamins includes thiamine, riboflavin, vitamin A, vitamin D. Minerals of poultry includes calcium, phosphorus, sodium, iron, magnesium, sulfur, to name a few. Besides, so many other minerals also found in the meat of the birds. So in fact this meat is easily digestible just like the eggs. So it is richest source of proteins, and in fact this flesh of the birds is more of the so-called less of the more of the proteins and less of the fats. So in fact these heart patients, so they prefer the meat of the chicken rather than the meat of the lambs. So the sheep, so they have high fat content, but the fat content in the birds is less. So therefore this meat is excellent source of proteins and fats and vitamins and minerals. So another byproducts of the poultry is the poultry manure obtained from the droppings of poultry constitutes nitrogen, phosphoric acid, potash, and highly valuable manures for plants and development. So this poultry in the birds droppings rich in the uric acid, and it's a good organic manure, natural manure. So it has the nitrogenous base. Further it has the micronutrients. So macronutrients and micronutrients both are there in the excreta of the birds. Basically uric acid is there, and in addition to uric acid, so phosphoric acid, potash and nitrogen are there in the droppings of the birds, and rich for the plants. So it contains the macronutrients as well as the micronutrients, and a natural manure next to the cow dung. Other byproducts of the poultry is the feathers of the poultry are good commercial importance. They constitute 4 to 9% of the live weight of the birds. They used to manufacture the pillows. Long feathers are used in the shuttlecocks. They also form a good insulating substance in the pack industry. So since the feathers, there are so many types of feathers in the birds, maybe the down feathers, the phyllo plumes, or the what you call the feathers found in the wings. So these feathers are having interlocking mechanism while the bird is flying in the air. So therefore these feathers are a good insulating substances. A number of poultry products like blood meal, feather meal, hatchery byproducts are also good source of nutrients for meat producing animals like pigs, fish and poultry. So I mean to say, the byproducts of the poultry industry like the blood meal or the feather meal, so they contains a rich source of proteins, and usually these rich source of proteins are dried, they powdered and made pellets and given to the meat producing animals like the pigs, fish and poultry itself. So it formed the poultry meal. The poultry byproducts form the poultry meal, and this poultry meal again rich source of proteins, rich source of vitamins and minerals, good source given to the animals, and they receive the good quantity of proteins. So further, the gizzard, the intestine, the head, feet, underdeveloped eggs, etc. are drained properly and a good source of calcium and phosphorus and essential amino acids. They form actually byproducts and form protein supplements and calcium supplements used in the pharmaceutical industries. So whatever the unwanted products in the poultry, they are used to manufacture the protein rich supplements. Whether maybe the pharmaceutical industries are directly these byproducts can be given as a fish meal or the pig meal, or for the either for preparation of tablets which are rich source of proteins. Further, the shells of the eggs of poultry are very good source of calcium carbonate and phosphorus. And we know this calcium carbonate is one of the raw material for the manufacture of cement. And when talk about cement, cement finds a unique place or a special place in the construction industry. So just from the shell of the eggs, so it lead to the cements, and cements used to in the industries, construction industries, or railway coaches, or bridges, etc. So these are the various byproducts. So in the nutshell, just we discuss about the poultry products, particularly the eggs and meat are the poultry products. And when you come to the byproducts, the excreta is one of the byproducts. The feathers are other byproducts. And the feathers and the egg shell is the another byproduct. And the poultry meal, the unwanted materials in the poultry, they form the poultry meal. And this poultry meal is just powdered and dried and made into the tablets and given to the other animals, maybe the pigs or fish itself or the birds. So they form the rich source of proteins and calcium supplements, mineral supplements. So this is about the poultry products and byproducts. So just references what we saw, economic zoology by these two authors and Quatpal book, just for the references purpose. Thank you for listening.